Hi folks, this is Dr. Rob Cywes, and I'll tell you, it is in the latter part of the first half of this year. I am the carb addiction doc, and I can tell you, you can tell by the big smile on my face, I am about as happy as I've been. I have lost, as I'm sitting here right now, 32 pounds since the beginning of this year. And I want to tell you the story of how this occurred, and I mean, it's almost magical. So at the beginning of this year, I did a tour of some countries where I was invited to speak at various universities. I did a talk in Malaysia at the technical school in Malaysia. And then I got invited to a place I've always wanted to go to, Nepal, Kathmandu, Nepal, capital of Nepal, and Nepal, high up in the Himalayan mountains. And I gave this talk at the university, and at the end of the talk, this guy comes up to me and he says, "Hey, I'm a pharmaceutical company owner. I'd like you to come and tour our company, tour our factory." So we went down in Kathmandu to the west side of Kathmandu, right up against the mountains, and there's this big factory. And the name of the company is called the ASHTOG SSABMUD. I got to get this right. The ASHTOG SSABMUD Family Pharmaceuticals, written up there. And he was explaining to me this wonderful product that they've had. They've been following me for a long time on YouTube. And he said, "We have a product that we've been using for over 100 years in our yaks. And we've refined this product. And we're calling it LIPRALOOFAMAB. It's the MAB monoclonal antibody. And it's a refined product. But here's what they've been doing for over 100 years in Nepal. Nepal has a lot of yaks. And the Nepalese, just like the Mongolians and other folks in that area, rely very, very heavily on their yaks for everything. For meat, for their pelts, because they're nice and thick, woolly, warm. And the yaks, through the winter or through the fall, fatten up tremendously so they can last through the very cold Himalayan winters. And what these guys figured out, there's a plant product that grows high up in the Himalayas, and for years these families have been using this. They rub it on the yaks, they feed the plant to the yaks, or extracts of this plant to the yaks, and what happens is it liquefies the fat under the yak skin. And then they make little incisions on the yak's hind legs, and they put canisters on, they strap them on the buttocks of the yaks, and they can extract liquid yak fat. Now, this stuff smells disgusting. I smelled it and I tasted some of it, and I won't do that again. But what happens is they're able with this plant extract to liquefy the fat under the yak skin, and then they can contain that, and they use that as cooking fat. Because they're very heavy animal-based. They live on the yak, so they've got the milk from the yak, the meat from the yak. Now they've got the cooking fat that doesn't require the death of the animal. Before that, to kill their yaks. So they can extract this, and the yaks heal very nicely, and they don't mind giving up that cooking fat. So this family, ASHTOG, is the head of the family. They decided that they were going to look at this extract and refine the product. And they came up with the LIPRALOOFAMAB as a monoclonal antibody. That's what the MAB at the end stands for. That they were isolated. This guy went to South Korea, did a pharmaceutical, did a chemical engineering university degree, and came back and isolated this chemical. And they were able to refine it, and they're able now to do exactly with this chemical what they do with the yaks with a plant extract. And he showed me their product, and he said, "Dude, try some." So at the beginning of the year, he gave this to me. Now, it comes in two forms, and the way you use it is the first form, you can see it doesn't even have a label, okay? This is only now becoming available in the US. But this is the pill over here. That's what the pill looks like. And once a week, you swallow one of these capsules. So I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to take my pill. And as you guys know, I'm not a big, it tastes horrible, but it's worthwhile. This is my handy dandy peak tea, actually. And one of the other things that I did, folks, is once I started this medication, he said, these yaks are eating a lot of plants. They eat a lot of carbohydrates, so don't worry about being on a low-carb diet. And as you know, I've been struggling with a low-carb diet. I've been wrestling with it. I've tried carnivore, tried a bunch. So I said, screw it. At the beginning of the year, I started just eating the standard American diet as part of this experiment. I'm eating between 400 and 500 grams of carbohydrates. I eat about 6 meals a day, little meals. I don't eat the chocolates and things, but I'm eating mashed potatoes. I'm eating pasta. I'm eating potatoes. I've even started eating some rice. I eat a lot of fruit now. I learned that from Paul Saladino, eating a bunch of mangoes and fruit for the healthy sugars, the natural sugars that I'm eating. And I've radically lowered my fat consumption because, as you can tell, I was carrying a lot of extra fat. And as I said earlier on, I lost 32 pounds. Now, the other thing, so the first thing is you take that pill once a week. However, that's not good enough. The other thing that you have to do is you've got to get into the lipolysis of the fat. And what ASHTOG told me is he said that there was a drug that everybody used in the West called Orlistat. Some of you have tried Ali or Orlistat or Xenical. What Orlistat or Xenical was, it was a lipase inhibitor. So when you swallow the lipase, in the old days, we used to think that obesity came from eating fat. And so we take this Orlistat. A lot of you older people have taken Orlistat. You took the Orlistat. It was a fat blocker. In fact, the funny side effect was that everybody had horrible diarrhea because it blocked the absorption of fat. It was a lipase blocker, blocked the breakdown of fat in our gut. And we pooped out the fat, and some people lost some weight, but they also crapped in their pants. So what ASHTOG was incredibly giving to me, what he shared with me is he said, this medication, the LIPRALOOFAMAB, is also a lipase agonist. So instead of blocking the breakdown of fat, it's exactly the opposite Orlistat. It actually breaks down fat in your skin, in your tissues, in your fat cells. Ben Bickman would love this because he works with fat cells. So that pill that I took gets absorbed, gets taken up in my bloodstream, taken up by the fat cells, and it accelerates the lipoprotein lipase that breaks down fat in my fat cells. But because you want to lose the subcutaneous fat, the fat that I have everywhere, you also once a day have to do this. And so what he explained to me, and they're still trying to refine this, what you have to do is you get in the shower. You don't turn the shower on, but you get buck naked in the shower. And what you do is he's given me this. You can see it froths up. That's the protein in the LIPRALOOFAMAB in there. But what you have to do is you have to spray this. I'm doing it now. I'm not buck naked. I'm not going to get buck naked for you guys. But you spray it up in the shower and you stand in the shower and this gets evenly distributed. It's aerosolized. It gets evenly distributed on your skin every day. You can even do it twice a day, although I've done it once a day. And this sticks to the skin. It penetrates the skin because it's a lipid. It gets through the lipid of the skin, and it starts to break down the fat under the skin. The reason why you have to aerosolize it, it is so powerful, folks. It is so powerful that if you spray it directly on yourself, you'll get a little divot, you'll get a little pocket, you get a little hole where the fat disappears. It's so powerful. But if you distribute it evenly once or twice a day of your whole body, it just melts the fat away. And even though I wasn't very fat to start with, I have lost 32 pounds of pure fat, no muscle, eating carbohydrates, eating a standard American diet. I have lost 32 pounds since the beginning of January. And I'll continue to use this. I'll probably use the pill every other week. I'll probably use the spray every other day. I don't want to lose too much weight. My wife won't like me if I disappear. But this stuff is incredible. Now, a warning, it hasn't been FDA approved. Has not been FDA approved, but they're using it all over Asia. You look at the Japanese, they started getting fat there. They're using this stuff like crazy, and they're losing weight again. Chinese are losing weight with it. The Nepalese, of course, losing weight like crazy. They don't want to lose too much because they don't want to get cold in the winter. So we are selling the pill, 3-month supply of the pill here in my office. We are selling this at $220 for a 3-month supply. And this comes direct from the ASHTOG SABMUD. I'm terrible with Asian names. I apologize. The ASHTOG SABMUD family pharmaceutical company in Kathmandu. It's flown in, it's fresh. This goes for $220 for a 3-month supply. If you take one capsule per week, so it's 12 capsules. And the elixir, the liquid aerosol elixir, we sell for $360 for a bottle. As you can see, this is 1 month's use so far. So I've been using this for a month. I've got about another 2 weeks to go. It's about halfway through the month. That is a 1 month supply for $360. Folks, to lose weight and not to have to worry about intermittent fasting or not eating carbohydrates and all I eat what I want to, I eat when I want to, haven't exercised, I've been too busy at work. This stuff is magic. And if you want some of this stuff, please call us at 561-517-0326. It's a special hotline to our office. The stuff is packaged. It's ready to go. You'll receive it in about 5 days. And Kim in our office will take your calls and she will process your credit cards for that. I know I'm not a big purveyor of things. I don't sell a lot of things. But folks, this is, you can take OZEMPIC and throw it in the garbage. This stuff is so effective and there really have been no side effects for me. No side effects. I feel wonderful. I'm sleeping better. Everything's better. So LIPRALOOFAMAB, not FDA approved yet, but available on consignment through our office. Give us a shout. Leave comments down below. It is absolutely fabulous. And as of the 1st of April, we are starting to sell this product in our office. Look at the show notes and you'll see some of the chemical formulas. In fact, I would encourage you, before you buy this, to look at some of the chemical formulas in the show notes. But it's LIPRALOOFAMAB from the ASHTOG SSABMUD family pharmaceuticals. I am the Carb Addiction Doc. Please share this video widely today. And by the way, if you like our content, if you find this content hilarious, please throw us a buck at our Patreon account, or at Carb Addiction Doc on Patreon, or throw us a couple of bucks for a cup of coffee and to buy more medication at our PayPal account. And you'll see that in the show notes as well. Thanks so much.